people are craving in-person live experiences, a comedy show, when you're at a movie theater and like someone laughs at the same moment as you. Like there's this like, you know, arm on hair standing up level comfort of that. And I think I just love those experiences because they make me feel alive.
Wait, it's not that deep. Ella Katz. Welcome to Not That Deep.
This is crazy. This is that deep. This is going to be that deep.
We are the deepest people that I know.
The deepest with a capital D, underlined, italicized, bold,
etc.
etc.
Comic Sans, optional.
Very optional.
If you were a font, what would it be?
Oh my God. Why can I not, like, not Gothic, not Helvetica, not Arial.
No, and not Lucinda.
I'm like only thinking of the ones that I'm not. Why do I want to say like papyrus? But that's like horrible. That's a horrible font.
What's papyrus?
It's like it looks like it comes from the Middle Ages and it's like cursive but thin. I don't like where this is. I don't like papyrus, so I'm going to move on from that. Not Times, but I sometimes love Times New Roman. Hate to say it.
I kind of think you're.
Can you just tell me what font you think I am?
Yeah, I think you're like an italicized Comic Sans because you're really fun and you're really light, but you also have this side where like you are very put together and you can like teeter between the two, but also bring them together in a really nice way. You're 23.
4.
When was your birthday?
August 24th, 2000.
Oh, we've definitely discussed this.
Pause. Virgo sun,
Yeah.
Sag rising,
Yeah.
Gemini moon.
Batty. On the 26th.
This is why.
Yeah.
Wait, we should probably tell the story of how we met because not that it's even that crazy, but like we have to shout out the Jacky Norris.
We have to shout out the Jacky Norris. Jackie, if she's listening to this and she's
She
like,
will be
you
listening.
fucking cunts, you didn't bring me up. The other day, wait, this is a funny story. The other day, I was like, Jackie, I'm unable to talk on the phone right now. You know, I think with certain people, and I think you can agree with this, like, I want to carve out a solid 45 minutes for a catch-up.
And that person is Jackie because she deserves at least 45 to 57 minutes every time we talk.
Yes. And if I cannot give it, I'm not going to open up the pot of, hey, let me give you a quick ring.
I think that's a good, healthy, grown-up boundary to set.
I do think also there is power in being like, hey, I have 5 to 7 to catch up.
So my dad gets really upset about that. And I'm like, Dad, like, I'm going to work. Like, I don't, you know, like, I think as long, I'm interrupting you, but I think as long as you say what the time is, it's better.
Yes.
And
having an out, separate from Jackie, having an out of like, I gotta go, I'm getting on the subway.
Totally.
Is so nice.
Subway is so good for people that you only want to talk to for 7 minutes.
All of a sudden you start losing service. I can't, what? No, I've mocked a subway before.
That is insane.
I've cosplayed as the underground.
Probably with Danny and what's his name? Our subway guys.
Derek.
Danny and
Derek. My
Derek.
God, we are so interconnected.
How have we never talked about that either?
Okay, hold on, Ella. I knew this was going to happen.
Yeah, we got to stop.
Okay.
Focus.
No, because both of us are leaders. Like, wait, oh my God, I have so many different things.
It's okay.
We were talking about Jackie. We just want to respectfully shout out Jackie.
Respectfully shout out Jackie. We are obsessed with you. And the story was Dana said she didn't have time to call Jackie. I had a quick podcasting life work question. So I called Dana for 6 minutes, but I was on the phone with Jackie on my computer. So Jackie was like, what the fook, Dana? Said you didn't have time to call me, but then we all are best friends and it's fine.
We all kikied after.
Kikied.
But I also think that there's so much power in being able to say to a friend, like, hey, I didn't love how you did that.
Totally. And you were like, yeah, I'm sorry.
Do you feel like you have certain people in your life that you're like, we are not close enough to fight?
Wow. Yeah. Where few, because I feel like the people, I'm such a quantity, such a quantity over quality. I'm such a quality over quantity person. And so most of the people really close to me, I feel really lucky that I have a really, really great circle, smaller circle, honestly, of people that are like really, really close to me. And all of them are worth fighting with and fighting for. And that whenever I get into a disagreement or there's a rift with someone I really love, I always say to them and say to myself, like, I actually feel grateful that we care enough to fight. Like, that's really cool. But are there people in my life from college or whatever, just from passerbys or people I'm, not that close with that I'm like, I don't even have the energy for this? Yeah. And I also think that you should listen to yourself when you do feel that way about someone, because if you don't have the energy to fight for them or fight for it, then like, why are you putting in the energy at all?
I completely agree.
What's your take on it?
I'm a big quality over quantity. I mean, who is openly admitting that they're quantity over quality?
Well, some people just are. They like to have lots of friends, and you have lots of friends. I have lots of friends, but I've had those moments too. New York is very overstimulating with new friends, new people. Club, another club, another club.
No sleep. Urbana.
Yes. Urbana. Mean barista. Like,
you're
come
like,
on.
what?
Yeah. But then, like, when you're crying in your room and, like, everything is crumbling down, you realize there's like only a few people you would actually text and call. And so I'm trying right now, especially as life gets busier and crazier and more beautiful, to like remember and always invest and prioritize those relationships of the ones who like would sit with me on the bathroom floor crying.
And that's really beautiful.
Thank you.
And I do think like being introduced by a mutual is really interesting because you don't know if we're going to vibe. But when you have such a trusted resource, such as Jacky Norris, she's
such as Jacky.
You have to meet this person. I have a fun fact for you. I thought you were a celebrity when she first when she first was like, you should meet my friend Ella. And I looked you up. I was like, oh my God, is this like the Gen Z Hoda?
That is, I think I need that audio like on repeat my mixtape.
I really thought you were a celebrity. Like it's the way you, I mean, even now I'm like, you are famous.
Stop.
But like,
because I dropped a chocolate purse. It's the only reason why. But,
Ella, I thought we weren't talking about it.
We aren't talking about it, but please keep going.
Okay. I'm like, clip. So I thought you were famous, and then we met.
That's so funny.
And we were just screaming at each other for at least an hour.
Could not get a word in because we both had so much to say.
But that's beautiful. And then we both realized, okay, 24th, 26th, August.
Done.
Connected,
Sisters.
intertwined.
Kissing. Perfect.
So you had an amazing revelation, change up, etc. a few weeks ago.
Oh, yes.
I want to get inside your big ass brain.
Oh, thank you.
And understand what happened and what led you to where you are today. Because and I will sit back and kind of let you talk.
No, but I want you to jump in or I won't stop.
I will, but your story is really interesting and inspiring, not just your Manjaro story and journey.
Thank you, sister.
Like, this isn't just about Manjaro.
But it can be.
And what if at the end of the day it is just about Manjaro?
Because it's honestly not that deep.
Yeah.
Right?
Dealer's choice.
Totally. Crying. I'm actually crying.
You switched your career and you did something that I think a lot of people would want to do between age 20 to 60, and they never do it, to explore something that is right now a passion but will be your full-time career and will be a money motherfucking mega. I want you to talk about, you graduate college, you have this position, hit me.
Okay. I also just need to interject for 2.5 seconds and say that, when you meet someone and you just feel like they get me and they speak my language and they just see the world the way I see it and they support my delusion. Dana.
I love you.
And that's where I was just like, I gotta keep this one around. And it just kept, and not that deep was really going in Taller Toddlers. So I just love you, and I just think what you're doing is just so, you're just a gift. You're a gift. I feel blessed to be here with you and our friend Chris. So, okay.
Shout out Chris.
ABC News. I love you so much. USC, fight on. Majored in journalism, minored in film. Had this little voice probably February before I graduated in May of it was like a, yes, you have worked your ass, and I mean ass off, on this track to become a broadcast journalist. But like, A, who is watching that? Period, for how hard we work. B, the best journalists, in my opinion, are truth seekers. They are dying to understand both sides of a conflict, of a story. They want to run into the fire, run into the war zone, run into the conflict when there are more questions than answers, and they want to find the answers to those questions because they want to disseminate that information to the public. That's what it's supposed to be. We've lost the plot a little bit in 2025. I knew from a young age that I wanted to inspire. I wanted to connect. I wanted to share myself also, and also use my vulnerability to help other people share. And so all of that to say, but I also my ego was huge at the time. Like, I had done a lot of self-actualization and all the things, but like, I love telling people I worked at ABC News. Like, if you went on a date with me in 2022 or 2023, it was like, hi, I'm ABC News and my name is Ella, but that doesn't matter. Like, it was everything. I led with it. But I realized, so my CCJ, what I call my creative come to Jesus, started to happen in like August, around my birthday of 2023. So like almost 2 years ago, which is crazy. That was when I had my first feelings for a woman, but we will get there after because, yeah, crazy. I know I'm wearing a vest today, but like, if you knew me in high school, you could have never imagined, ever.
If you came in high school, what would you be wearing?
Oh my God, like a little dress, not a bow, but like a little dress, maybe sneakers, but probably ballet flats, okay? Like, we were feminine nomenon over here. We still are, but whatever.
What we really need.
Whatever. So I get this really unique opportunity. I'm shouting out Mary Noonan, who is like my fairy godmother and hired me at ABC, who's now a badass talent agent at UTA. Mary took a chance on me, and I essentially pitched myself to say, I think if you guys want people to know who ABC News is in 10 years, 15 years, you need to do X, Y, and Z. And I like think that I can do it for you, even though I'm 21 years old. And she was like, okay, give us what you got. See you on July 25th. You'll start. I was like, that is essentially over the course of like 3 calls what happened. And I also credit all of that to USC, where I just learned this super like dynamic kind of interpersonal way of storytelling and social media, whatever. So I essentially spent almost 3 years working as a social media producer at ABC News. So pause.
Did they not have that?
They had social media producers, but before I came, it was, okay, let's grab what's on World News Tonight. Let's grab what's on Good Morning America, the Hoda equivalent, and just slap it on Instagram.
Got it.
And I said, no. We are trying to reach a new audience. If we are disseminating information on Insta, on TikTok, on Facebook, we can put the broadcast on there as an addition, but we need to create original social first reporting that when someone's on their commute on an 8 a.m. on a Tuesday and they see it on Instagram, they will stop scrolling to listen to us. That meant making horizontal video vertical. That meant me with our correspondents being like, Jay, you were on Capitol Hill yesterday. What the heck is going on? Doing just me. I had this segment called Let's Get Into It. And that was like my first ever, I had a crazy start to my career because I was all over the ABC News social. But even from the beginning, as cool and flashy as it was, there was like an internal, like, it's not deep enough. It's not that deep, and that's a bad thing. I felt like a disconnect. It felt like, that's so cool in ABC News and like, yay. But I didn't feel like what I was doing was like resonating with our generation. And here's something I talk a lot about. While I needed that platform, and I will credit wherever I go in this world, in this career, in this beautiful life, to ABC News. It was an amazing launching pad for me. I do think that when it comes to trust, people trust individuals more than they trust brands. And I found that whenever I wasn't really doing that much social at the time, because when you work at a major news network, you are very controlled what you can and can't do. It is very, everything you do is representative of ABC News. I come on this podcast, I have to tell them. I can't swear. I bent those rules a little bit, but like,
wow,
it's tough, and you're really owned by them because journalists need to trust you. All these things. All that being said, I started to get this little voice in my head that was like, Ella, like, okay, it's not an internship anymore. It's not a summer after college. Like, this is your life, and yeah, it would be really, really cool to be the anchor of Good Morning America or the Today Show, but like. The Hoda equivalent, which I love that you just said that. That's like the best compliment I've ever received. The Hoda equivalent in 2050 is going to look so different. And I can stay in the safety of like ABC, but like, let's be honest for a second, that's not going to be the most impactful way of storytelling. So that was the first moment where I was like, okay, we got to do something about this. Please talk.
You're such a good storyteller. That makes so much sense.
Thank you.
What did you do with that little feeling? Did you tell somebody? Did you keep it in? That must have been very overwhelming for a baby Ella.
Beyond. I started to tell my friends who supported my delusions, my friends who, the Dana equivalents, who were also trying to explore and pursue their passions. And honestly, it was like a pot boiling over, like, anyone that I could like sense, like I would meet like someone cool like Chris in the elevator and be like, by the way, I work at ABC News, but like I like want to be an actor and like have a podcast and like this is like not me. Like it was like coming out of me. I would tell my parents, and they knew, like, you know, but it was hard to like understand because it wasn't like I'm just gonna go to like another major media company. Like I was like, guys, I like have to create it. I'm like, that's really scary. But I didn't. One thing was really interesting was like we worked with a lot of talent that came on ABC News Live, whatever. I remember really cool people coming on the show, and like when I knew it got to a point where I had to do something about it, was like I wouldn't want to introduce it would be the weirdest thing. I stopped going to the green room to meet talent because I didn't want to introduce myself as like the ABC News social media producer, because it literally stopped feeling like a title that described who I was. And now, and we'll get there and I'll shut up, but like I guess it's a podcast, but like now in every room I'm in, whether it's a Taller Toddlers room, Not That Deep, whether it's some of the freelance work I'm doing, I'm just Ella. And that's a blessing. But I did so much work to get there and so much unlearning. And I left this big, you know, fancy corporate security blanket, this security blanket Snuggie, and it's going to pay off. It's still scary, but it's going to pay off.
It is a weighted blanket.
Weighted.
And
with money and gold and stability and heat.
And stability. I just like, there's so many people in their career right now who don't want to be known as like the CPA, the associate producer, the
whatever
team lead. And you did it. You saw an opportunity for yourself that you had to create for yourself. It's not like a competitor said, hey, come on over, we really want to poach you. You literally had to have full faith in yourself, and it is working out. What did you go to? Because
like in myself, you mean, or like?
Oh, I love that. I kind of was like teeing up Taller Toddlers.
I'm crying.
But but if you.
No, I have a.
Take it as you will.
You know what? I also just want to say, because this is something that kind of advice I wish I had. If you are listening to this and you hate your job, you know you're meant for more, you know you want to do something else, showing up every day is so hard, but it's not impossible. You need to invest in your morning, your pre-work and after-work routine. Do something for yourself before you go to that office and give your energy to everyone else. And also, and this is something I commend you on, if like your style starts to change, or you are doing a podcast or comedy or an art project, creating outside of work, like tell your coworkers about it. start making funny TikToks with your coworkers. You don't need to wait until you leave to like start and do it, because guess what? When you do get the balls to leave or you do get that new job, there will be other challenges that you might not have predicted. So I just want to say that. And also, like, it's okay and it's not going to last forever, and like you're strong and perfect and you deserve to like your life. And if you don't like your job, get a new one, and it's not that deep. Okay.
Yes.
Just get a new one.
I was like very nervous to tell my coworkers that I had a podcast at first.
How was that experience?
It was so amazing.
Yeah, and now you probably feel more authentic at work.
I am the exact same person on stage, off stage, in the office, out of the office, and I don't want to be I go in to see my clients and they're like, Dana, I just saw your video about Xanax. That was so funny. I'm like, my manager's right behind me.
No. But I used to get that way too, where people would come up to me. This is Ella. She's our producer. She has a podcast. I was like, shut up. And sometimes you do need to do that because of the setting. But like for the most part, it's like, you know what? Zoom out. Picture yourself talking about this whole story on a podcast when you're 50.
10 years from now. Oh my God, Ella, I always
it's the only thing that got me through.
Like that.
It's the only thing that got me through.
I'm like, well, what would my 39-year-old self love if I did when I was 27?
Yep.
So do it, bitch.
And what would your 6-year-old self think of what you're doing now, which is a perfect segue.
Oh, I love that.
I just love you.
Oh, is that rhetorical? Like, I want you to keep talking.
Well, you can think about it, and I'm going to go back to it.
Okay.
I'm walking to Trader Joe's. It's 2023. We're mid-CCJ. My friends...
Come to Jesus.
My friend Zoe says, we're going to Trader Joe's on a Sunday. We really don't want to go, but we're like, we're grown-ups. We have to, like, get the wild salmon and, like, get over it. Zoe's like, have you ever thought about how we're all just taller toddlers? I go, stop. Like, don't even move. Like, that is it. That's the idea. That's the show. That's the thing. That's it. Taller toddlers. Grown-ups are all still growing up. We need to talk about it. We need to normalize it. And I literally believe with every fiber of my being that if we normalize the fact that we're all just taller toddlers, this experience, this collective experience we're having of being grown-ups will be so much more magical, manageable, and marvelous. Like, that's it. So I started ideating in 2024. It was a long road to get approval to do it while I worked at ABC. It could not be a podcast. People thought it was a podcast the whole time. Only now it officially is. But like, it was a short form social media show. Fine, I'm good with that. And I started interviewing both strangers on planes, trains, and parks, but also the formal interview, if it's like planned like this, it's called a play date. We talk about the microphones are juice boxes. We talk about what you were like as a kid, what you wanted to be when you grew up, if you learned to tie your shoes bunny loops or the other way. And then we kind of take you through this arc of like, you know, what toddler truths you still believe and hold on to, and, you know, your journey now and things you've been through, things you're teething on, and, you know, what you would tell your younger self and all that stuff. And I find that, you know, people kind of say that I think the podcast space, as you know, is really saturated. I don't even market it like a podcast. It's kind of different. But I do think that, you know, we are more connected than we've ever been, but we're also lonelier than we've ever been. Mm. And I think that feeling like you know, one of the best feelings, whether you get it through TV, film, a podcast, is like listening to something, watching something and saying like, me too. Like I feel that. I went through that. I see that. And I want to give that to people because I have that feeling from lots of media I consume, and it's the most comforting thing in the world. So I just, it's the Todd Squad. That's new. I don't know if I like it yet, but I think I like it.
I like it.
I'm just really excited. And but I did not leave. I started doing it. I did it for like almost a year while I worked at ABC. And then I got to the point where I was like, you know, I mean, I was fully shooting toddler episodes, going to work. So my last year of ABC, I worked on our primetime show from 2 to 10 because someone on the team left, it was great and horrible. I loved working with our anchor, Lindsay, but it was also a gift because I could shoot toddler episodes before work. Oh, I would get up, I'd work out, I would do my morning journal pages, I would shoot toddlers, I'd go to work, which is exactly what you're doing. Mm. And that hunger. And then I would go to work with good energy because I would be so happy about what I had just done, even if I was like burnt out from the news cycle or the job. And I was glad I stayed through the election because that was kind of like a once in a lifetime experience. And then after the election, I was like, okay, it's really time. So yeah.
Again, unreal job telling that story.
Thank you.
Because I could physically see you walking to Trader Joe's, having
Thank
an
you.
epiphany with like your reactions that you have. I can
Insane.
only fathom. What, like, have you always been this curious and this, I mean, you studied journalism in college. Like, where did this innate warmth and like desire to connect come from? Can you pinpoint a spot?
That's a really, really great question. You know, I just feel like I am so fascinated by people and by the human condition and what makes people tick and what makes people cry and what makes us think and feel and react in the ways that we do. And I think it's so funny filming people. The feedback I've gotten is like people's favorite episodes or clips are sometimes when I talk to people on planes. And what's so funny is I've had this idea of like plane strangers. When Humans of New York started, I was obsessed with it. You know, I've always been that annoying passenger on planes talking to people. And I've been that person that's like overshared with a stranger next to me. But I've had people tell me crazy stories. And there's such this like vibrancy. And I relate to the barista, like, of like, we're connecting. I don't really know you. I'm never really going to know you in that deep of a way. But like, this is why we're here, to connect, to relate, to like, even when you have those moments, I think after COVID, we're still recovering, right? Like, when you're having, people are craving in-person live experiences, a comedy show, when you're at a movie theater and like someone laughs at the same moment as you, like there's this like, you know, arm on hair standing up level comfort of that. And I think I just love those experiences because they make me feel alive and they make me feel so much better than scrolling on TikTok. So like, I just like to move through the world that way because it makes me feel good. But in terms of, a specific moment, I just remember like always talking to strangers in place, you know, doctor's offices and planes and whatever. And also like always looking at people in positions of power. One of my favorite stories we ever produced at ABC was we did a round table on the floor of the Senate or the House, one of them, where 4 lawmakers opened up about their mental health. About their depression, their anxiety. And I was like, this is what we need. We need more avenues to see people as people, to see people as taller toddlers, to show people that it's not that deep, you know?
We literally, and I think I talk about this every episode, like, you never know what somebody is going through.
Ever.
And I think we're also worried about ourselves, that if you can just take a second and think maybe somebody else, exactly what you said about the barista, where I'm coming out, I need to be reminded too that maybe someone is having a really hard day.
Totally.
Or like you said, maybe their dog died.
But also even
we
if
don't know.
We don't know, but also that's why like the Dana energy is so important because maybe this guy was like having a rough day, like whisking the matcha, but like maybe you made his day. I don't know. And like, that's why I also think it's really important to do anything you can to invest in your energy and yourself. And like, so cliche, but like you have to fill your cup. Like if I don't like get my sleep, do my workout, do my thing, whatever you have to do, I can't be Ella to other people. Like it just doesn't work. It's like
Absolutely.
math. And I'm not good with numbers, but it's like math.
You can only control yourself.
Mm-hmm.
We literally are so out of control with everything, everybody else. If you can just control the energy that you put out into the world, it makes it a lot better.
Totally.
I want to know if you have a specific Taller Toddlers instance interview episode that you can look back on and you can just feel like so much pride. Like I want you to share your pride with me.
Happy Pride.
Happy Pride.
That was beautiful. That was really funny. God, I've had some really, really good ones. I think I really loved a recent one that just came out with 2 fabulous. I love when like sometimes like if you're forcing things too much, it doesn't work. And when you just like relax, things like just happen, and I'm trying to do more of that. So I'm also, I haven't auditioned for things yet, but I'm also pursuing acting. I don't know if you fully know. You kind of know that, but
I did not know that.
And one other thing I'll say is if you
Stop touching your hair.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
If you really don't like your job, no, I love her. If you really,
I know that she would watch us back and be
No,
like,
she would.
why didn't you tell me to stop?
Now I'm done.
Your hair looks insane, like in a good way.
I'm done.
Leave it.
If you don't like your job, when you're a kid, like maybe you have like math and science and then another math class. I forget how school works. You have after school activities, okay? You have after school activities. You go to dance, you go to field hockey, you go to the game, you go to piano, like whatever you did. You always need this as a grown-up, but especially if you're not liking your job, you need an after-work activity. I started doing acting classes while I was still at ABC. I also was doing Toddlers and like other things, whatever. Like that saved me. Honestly, it did. Every Sunday I would go. I would have, shout out Robinson, one of my favorite former coworkers, would print the anchor, Lindsay Davis's script, and he would print my acting lines, which I would memorize under my work desk.
Wow.
So emphasis on after school activities. But what were you just asking me? What was I saying? Toddler's episode that stood out.
Yeah, but now I'm so curious about acting. Because let's circle back on Toddlers.
Yeah.
Also, what time are we at?
Yeah.
We're at about 40 minutes.
Oh,
Okay.
good. We're making good time. We have time to talk about.
This is just something real about me. Like, I will ask what time we're at because I have no circadian rhythm.
Wait, same. But is that the right circadian rhythm?
No, of course not.
Okay.
But it's what I wanted to say.
And I just am so obsessed with the woman to my left. It's like gross. It's gross. You're so authentic. Authenticity is the hottest thing on the planet. It is.
That's true.
It is. It's what it says on my Raya.
I love
Full
that.
stop.
Okay, and shout out Raya, you won't let me in.
Wait, I'll let you in. You can. It's like, what is that?
No, Ella, like I've had 30 people refer me, and Raya's like,
Wait, I'm gonna call them.
try again next year, slut.
No,
and
we're
I'm like,
gonna-
I'm not a slut because you would let me in if I was a slut.
We're gonna figure it out. I'm not either, but they let me in, so
I don't understand.
I don't get it.
It's like I almost try to trick them. I'm like,
Maybe they'll let you in if you're like, I prefer women.
Maybe
I'll
do it, but like that's really heterophobic.
100%. I'm literally crying.
But whatever. Enough about Raya not letting me in. I actually bring that up every episode.
Perfect. I think you should. I think it's a campaign. Quantity, not quality.
So we're good on time. Acting, Ella, where were you taking acting classes?
I work with I started at Atlantic. I found that it was a little bit of like rolling on the floor and like talking about our feelings and not enough like doing the thing. I was lucky enough to shout out Glenn Davis, who's the artistic director at Steppenwolf and was nominated for a Tony. He's in an amazing Broadway show right now. He's like a mentor. He's the best. He said to me like, if you actually want to do this, you need to work with this guy. His name is Bob Krakauer. He doesn't like advertise anything. He's over on 29th Street. He specializes in film and TV, and I was pretty comfortable on camera because of what I've done at ABC. And I started working with him. I've worked with him since and his squad of Josh is my guy, Bob's my guy, since June of 2024, only a year, maybe. They're the best. They have taught me to read a script like a person. They have changed cough. Whoa. Everything.
That was a good one.
That was a good cough. And they're the best. So I've been working with them. And now I'm at the point where I'm going to start auditioning for stuff. We're just going to see. We're going to not stress. We're going to see where the chips land because everything's happening right on time. We don't need to force things. And also just want to shout out Benny Drama because the fact that he wrote himself into overcompensating and it's so amazing and human and not cringe that you're a TikToker. I am so inspired. That is what I want to do. Obsessed.
He's paving the way.
Paving.
By himself.
By himself.
Where do you, do you see yourself writing? Do you see yourself being this triple threat? Do you want to be a flow, for progressive? I just think that's a good example because it's I want to be in commercials. It's
I don't want to be a flow, but that's funny as fook, and I love that. But
Wait,
like,
when
I
you
love
say
flow.
fook, are you
Fuck.
referencing the but are you referencing the scene from Broad City?
No,
when
but I
Alana
should
Glazer
be.
goes, "Wanna fook?"
No, but wanna fook? I love that. No, but you have to send me that. I
will.
love Broad City. I've only watched a couple episodes, which is like weird of me. Anyway,
TV, movie?
no, like move, like film and
Okay.
TV. Also like play. I don't sing. My sister's a phenomenal singer, but I can't sing. I can dance. I can act. Film and TV and plays and like really authentic shit. Like indie, like Call Me by Your Name level, like stuff. Like, I don't know. I just want to do the thing, and I know it's in me, and we're just gonna do it.
I would imagine that most people that don't see success in this field don't have that original passion. They probably just want like that fame.
Well, and that's the thing. So that is why I went to the University of Southern California. I did not take one acting class. I did not get on one stage that was not, have it in my news voice for you.
Please. No, you haven't. I haven't had the pleasure.
Okay.
Because I've only met you once.
You can see right behind me, this matcha is green. John, we'll give it back to you. That wasn't even a good, I have like a little throat thing going on, but like, I'm telling you, I can turn it on. But it was a performance. I didn't realize I was acting. This was actually the work epiphany. All you need to know about the work epiphany was I realized I did not want to be a broadcast journalist. I wanted to be Reese Witherspoon in the morning show. Big difference. That's it. It's that simple. What was I saying right before that? I was saying something about...
You want to be in indie films.
I forget. I'll think of it.
But I'm going to guide you.
Guide me. Be my guide.
I'm like a safari guide
Be my
guiding a
shaman.
zebra to water.
Perfect.
You're like, that doesn't make sense.
It makes
like,
no sense,
I
but
can
I
say
love
what
it.
I want.
Yes, you can.
Because this is my podcast.
It is your podcast.
I'm like schwitzing. Okay.
Love a good schwitz.
I'm schwitzing in my rented dress. I do feel like whenever I rent clothing, I'm going to take on a different personality.
Totally.
I could dress like a Mormon next week.
And you should.
Because I rented it.
And it's your podcast.
So when I'm gonna enclose everything. I'm gonna close the loop.
Close the loop.
Taller Toddlers has now become a podcast.
Yes.
What was that like for you putting out the first episode literally yesterday?
Yesterday. Thanks to you.
No, stop.
It did feel great. It felt a little surreal. I do think social, it resonates more in social because the effort of like going to Spotify and listening, as you know, takes more effort. But I'm just doing it, and I'm just like trying to do what I love, help people feel better. I think everyone can feel better as a grown-up. It just takes some work and some unlearning and like the acceptance that your thoughts become things. So it was really exciting, and also I just have to shout out, like, I was so insanely inspired by the Alex Cooper Hulu documentary. It's like gross. Like I can't stop talking about it. And instead of being like, she's doing it, why am I not? Like, It's like, no.
No, your tongue is so green from the matcha.
I'm so scared that I don't want to look at it.
Wait, no, it was so funny, but I just like did not realize that.
Yeah, girl, we caffeinated. We matcha-ing. Foot's better. Foot, cheers.
Sorry, that was like a bitchy thing that I just did. But I felt like
awesome.
if you watched that back, you'd be like, Dana, why didn't you tell me my tongue
No,
was
it's
green?
awesome. So if you can find me.
You just turn into Elphaba.
I am Elphaba, actually.
Unfortunately, I am Nessa.
Did you know Elphaba's with an E, not an A?
Yes.
Elfie? I didn't know that. Anyway, so that's, it felt really good, and I'm just like going to keep doing the thing and hopefully talk to some really cool Taller Toddlers.
What you're taking from the documentary, I would assume, is
the go-getterness and the rebrand, the organic rebrand. Alex Cooper was in her East Village apartment talking about God knows what sex positions with Sophia Franklin and a microphone. And now she's this like businesswoman, whatever. I know people love to like shit on her. I just don't subscribe to it. People love to shit on Taylor Swift. People love to criticize successful women. And like her rebrand was so authentic because she's a good storyteller and she's vulnerable AF. She talked about things that nobody else would talk about. Do you know how scary that is? I do. That's scary. It's really scary and it's hard. And she did it. And it's like, I'm so proud to like be on this earth at the same time as her. That's sick.
I really agree with you. And I also think what really stuck for me was seeing her old videos that like she has had this character in her forever.
Wait, do you see videos of me as a kid?
Right.
Same with you, I'm sure.
Correct.
Yeah.
like, I think that it makes sense.
100%. I said on TikTok, I said, the reason why Alex Cooper likes her life is because she's doing what she did as a kid in her basement. That's why.
It's authentic.
And if you can find that thing, it's not that everyone needs to be like a world-renowned famous podcaster. Only like you and I have to, you know? Not everyone has to. But if you can find those elements of what you were doing and make-believing when you were 6 or 7 and infuse that into your grown-up life, you will like your life again. Full stop. I don't care if you're 43 and you haven't liked your life since you were 18. Now is now. It's never too late. It's never too late. Ever.
We have one life.
One.
I just think you're bringing, so many people need to be reminded of that. And it can be hard to remind yourself when like you're in maybe a dark place or a dark time, or maybe you don't have the right people around you. But your social clips and your podcast and where you will be is going, if it hasn't already, change so many people's perspectives. And like, I truly feel that I was introduced to you at this time in both of our lives that change is among us, but it's exciting.
So exciting.
And we're embracing it.
Embracing.
And I just, I feel like you've been hyping me up. Like, I truly just feel so lucky to have a relationship with you and be like, I knew her when.
No, I feel the same about you. I really do.
And let's continue to surround ourselves with people that are amazed by us.
100%.
And that we are amazed by them. They don't need to be doing the biggest thing. What does their heart look like? How do they show up for you?
Mm-hmm.
It's so important.
Totally.
Because we all are just taller toddlers.
Oh, and you said it, not me. It's true.
I should start a podcast called Taller
I'm
Toddlers.
crying.
I want you to tell us where everyone can find you.
Yes.
Because there's a list.
At Taller Toddlers everywhere, where you watch all your stuff. Insta, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Like tonight, I'll figure it out.
Sorry.
TikTok, everywhere. Or at Ella Katz with 2 A's because I made the Instagram when I was 13. But yeah, at Taller Toddlers everywhere. TallerToddlers.com to see more of what we do. And if you know...
it's you, bitch.
It's me. If you know any taller toddlers worth talking to, crying, DM us because we want to talk to really interesting, cool people that maybe other people don't talk to. So, yeah.
I love you so much.
Wait, do I get time to say what's not that deep?
Oh, yeah, of course. I do feel like we covered it so much, but
it was something. It's something else.
Oh, please.
It actually relates to what I said before.
Thank you for running my show.
No, you're perfect.
I love this.
Dana asked me to think about what's not that deep. And it is a perfect bow on what I was saying before about the job stuff. But what's not that deep is when you get a little voice in your head or a feeling in your stomach or your legs or your chest saying, it is a specific feeling. If you've had it before, you will know what I'm talking about. But if you get that feeling that says, you know, we're not who we thought we were. If you get that feeling, it's not that deep. Just listen to it and honor it. What is that deep is when you ignore it, when you suppress it, when you say, I don't want to, we are who we thought we were. We can't be this new thing. Then you become stuck, you become stagnant, you lose source with the light, you lose source with the creator. I'm going to sound like Kabbalah, but I don't care. So it's not that deep if you just say, okay, we've evolved, we've changed. That's what life is. It's a growth. It's an evolution. So I hope that was eloquent and made sense. But I thought about that in the bathroom this morning as I was brushing my teeth. I was like, that's what's not that deep. We've changed.
And that's okay.
And that's okay.
That was really eloquent and that makes total sense. But that also, like, everything that you stand for is all encompassing of Taller Toddlers. Like,
I hope so.
It is okay to change. And it's okay for the people that you love to change.
Totally. It's not, what's not okay is telling yourself that you can't change. Or telling yourself, like, I'm having this feeling or this thought about my job, about a relationship, about what clothes I want to wear, about where I want to live. And, like, no. Like, that's when we subscribe to, like, I'm supposed to do this, but I should like this, but I should like them. You can change your mind.
There are so many factors that keep people in the same place that they are. Maybe they have a duty to their parents, to their family, to their culture.
Totally.
And that is a privilege to be able to freely evolve, but
Totally.
it's also a right.
100%.
You deserve that.
You deserve that.
No, you deserve that. And I just think if we can constantly remind people that, like, you have one life. Like, what does your 40-year-old self want you to do? Oh, I saw something so good on Substack, and it was like, the people that have midlife crises are the people that didn't do what they wanted to do when they were younger.
Well, that's the thing is that I'm happy that I've been going through this like seismic shift between like 23 and 25 because I'm like, there will be other challenges when I'm 45, but I'm not going to have to wake up and say, oh, wow, I never listened to that voice. Like, what do I do now? It's a lot easier to make that change after a couple of years than after like decades, you know?
I'm so happy that I listened to that voice.
Totally.
Because this is
You're
where I am now.
listening. It's not easy, but it's not that deep because it's your life.
And you run it.
And you run it. We run it. Who run the world?
Ella and
Ella.
Della.
Della.
I also need that ring.
Which one?
The Ella
The
one.
name.
I need it, obviously, to say Dana.
I'll send you a link. No. I actually think it should say Ella.
I
think I'm going to gift it to you as like a friendship ring.
It's so boss babe alert.
Thank you so much. I'm like, Ella.
Yeah. What's my name? Dana. I love that.
I'm going to send you a link.
Burp. Okay.
You're
Ella,
perfect.
Thank you so much. I'm going to give you